now it is a tropical storm, right? For those of you who are keeping abreast with the weather reports and so on, you would see that the projection shows that it is expected to pass over us. Well, what can we say? And like I said, projection, right? I believe the name is now Gonzalo. I hope I pronounced it correctly. And we are directly in its projected path. Keep in mind the word projected. All right. So this morning, what I want to do is focus the first half of this morning on preparedness. We're going to talk a little bit about the preparedness kits and so on, what it should contain. What is your preparedness plan for you and your family in the event that something like this were to happen, or we were to get a direct hit and there's wind and there is a lot of rain and so on? What is your plan? All right. So we're going to open the lines very early this morning. The number to call is 440-7377. If you're calling locally, if you are in the diaspora, then you can call at 347-329-3101. For those of you listening, I know I sound a little bit distracted, but I'm trying to pull up here for you that report as it relates to this system, because it's really important for us to monitor this system, for us to take note of it. All right. I see some people commenting here saying it wouldn't hit us. Well, we don't know. You can never be too safe. All right. So it's important, guys, for us to put together our preparedness plans. What is your preparedness plan? What should your disaster supply kit look like? All right. We know we should have things like water, food, battery powered or hand cranked radios, a flashlight, a first aid kit. There are a number of homes that do not have first aid kits, I don't know why that is. I don't know why people don't see the need to have a first aid kit. And for those of you who do have a first aid kit, kudos to you. But there are a few people, that don't have a first aid kits, and that is a must-have in your home. Extra batteries, a whistle. Some people may say, well, why do I need a whistle? To sound for help. All right? Blow your whistle, let everybody know that, hey, I need some assistance here, right? A dust mask. Well, I know we have a lot of those because we're wearing masks every day, so we have a few of those. A dust mask, plastic sheeting or duct tape, all right? And duct tape, sorry. And plastic sheeting could be tarpaulin or anything of that sort. But a plastic sheeting and duct tape, moist towelettes, garbage bags, and plastic ties, all right, for personal sanitation, wrench or pliers to turn off utilities, manual can openers for food, a local map, cell phones with chargers, and a backup battery, all right? It's important to have these things, okay? Additional supplies can include things like face coverings or cloth face coverings for everyone ages 2 and above, soap, hand sanitizers, disinfectant wipes, prescription medications, non-prescription medications such as pain relievers, anti-diarrhea medication, antacids, and or laxatives, prescription eyeglasses, and contact lens solutions, infant formula, bottles, diapers, wipes, and diaper rash cream, pet food and extra water for your pet, you need to have a little cash on hand just in case. Important family documents such as copies of insurance policies, identification, bank account records, and these things can be stored in a portable waterproof container. All right, so you want to keep that in mind as well. You also want to ensure that you have a sleeping bag or a warm blanket for each person. A complete change of appropriate clothing, and shoes, sturdy shoes, fire extinguisher, matches in a waterproof container or a plastic bag, feminine supplies and personal hygiene items, paper cups, plates, paper towels, plastic utensils, books, games, puzzles, and activities for your children. So it's very important for us to have these items on hand in the event that something goes wrong. You know, we hope and we pray that, you know, we've been so lucky over the past few years since Ivan to not get anything that is too damaging, or since Emily actually, to not get anything that does any significant damage to our country. We have been lucky, we've been blessed, but we can't take that blessing for granted, right? I know we are famous for saying God is a Grenadian. While that may be true, we still have to be cautious, right? We still have to prepare. Make sure that you have at least 5 days of water storage in a clean, covered container, and ensure that you put away all of the canned foods and so on that you have purchased. Make sure that that is well stocked and well put away. There's no point of panic buying, all right? There's no point in panic buying or anything like that, okay? Guys, we're going to have to take a short break. We seem to be having a little technical difficulty for those of you who are listening via radio. So let's take a very short break, and then we will be back with some more information for you.
Grenada, like the rest of the Caribbean and communities all around the world, is facing an unprecedented challenge with managing the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. We are thankful for the support of Grenadians and friends of Grenada, both here and abroad, who have come together to offer prayers, support with supplies, volunteer their time and expertise, and give donations. Many of you continue to reach out, asking how you can help. In response to your request, and to further streamline our procurement process of personal protective equipment and other supplies, the Government of Grenada has developed the COVID-19 Response Support Fund. The fund gives Grenadians, friends of Grenada, and organizations the opportunity to support and partner with us through donations in the fight against COVID-19. If you are in Grenada, funds can be donated at the Grenada Cooperative Bank at account number 413-000-849. For further details and donation options when contributing from outside of Grenada, please visit our website covid19.gov.gd/donate.
The following is a public service announcement on the opening of the plant distribution season. The Ministry of Agriculture and Lands wishes to inform the general public of the change of date for the opening of the 2020 plant distribution season. The season will be declared open on Tuesday, 14th July at the Marable Propagation Station, St. Andrew. Please note that the sale of plants will commence on Thursday, 16th July at the following propagation stations: Marable Propagation Station, St. Andrew, Boulogne Propagation Station, St. Andrew, Moran Propagation Station, St. John, and Ashenden Propagation Station, St. David. The Ministry apologizes for any inconvenience caused. Ministry of Agriculture, ensuring food and nutrition security for all.
You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada via www.hardtalkgrenada.com.
The government of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique is asking all residents who have respiratory symptoms, including cough, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, or fever, to get tested for COVID-19. Protect your family and yourself. Make the call 538-4787 or 458-4787. Get tested. Save your life. Save my life. This has been a message from the Ministry of Health. Every person in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique is required under the Emergency Powers COVID-19 Number 4 Regulations, Section 2.4a(b), to wear a mask or suitable covering over their nose and mouth whenever they leave their home, attempt to enter, or is in line to enter a place of business, government offices, and while in a motor vehicle with any other person. Be COVID-19 smart. Obey the law. Cover up. Wear your mask.
The following are a list of food items to have on hand amidst COVID-19. Perishables like vegetables, fruits, provisions, and eggs. You are advised to stock perishable items to last up to 2 weeks. Non-perishable items including dry goods like cereals, flour, cornmeal, oats, rice, pasta, nuts and nut butters like peanut butter, crackers, canned or frozen meats, ready-to-eat canned meats, powdered or canned milk, dried peas and beans, canned fruits in natural juices, 100% canned fruit juices, and canned vegetables. You can stock non-perishable food items to last up to 1 month. Store bottled or clean drinking water, 1 gallon or more per day per person. If you suffer from a medical condition, have prescribed medications on hand. A message from the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council as we battle COVID-19.
Grenada, like the rest of the Caribbean and communities all around the world, is facing an unprecedented challenge with managing the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. We are thankful for the support of Grenadians and friends of Grenada, both here and abroad, who have come together to offer prayers, support with supplies, volunteer their time and expertise, and give donations. Many of you continue to reach out, asking how you can help. In response to your request, and to further streamline our procurement process of personal protective equipment and other supplies, the Government of Grenada has developed the COVID-19 Response Support Fund. The fund gives Grenadians, friends of Grenada, and organizations the opportunity to support and partner with us through donations in the fight against COVID-19. If you are in Grenada, funds can be donated at the Grenada Cooperative Bank at account number 413-000-849. For further details and donation options when contributing from outside of Grenada, please visit our website covid19.gov.gd/donate.
The following is a public service announcement on the opening of the plant distribution season. The Ministry of Agriculture and Lands wishes to inform the general public of the change of date for the opening of the 2020 plant distribution season. The season will be declared open on Tuesday, 14th July at the Marable Propagation Station, St. Andrew. Please note that the sale of plants will commence on Thursday, 16th July at the following propagation stations: Marable Propagation Station, St. Andrew, Bulong Propagation Station, St. Andrew, Moran Propagation Station, St. John, and Ashenden Propagation Station, St. David. The Ministry apologizes for any inconvenience caused. Ministry of Agriculture, ensuring food and nutrition security for all.
All right, guys, and we are back. It seems like we're having a little technical difficulty. Those of you on the radio seem to be hearing me a lot lower. And, of course, we apologize for that. So I'm hoping that we get that fixed as soon as is possible. So I'll try to, to speak as loudly as I can to come across louder on your end. But I'm not sure what's happening on our end. But as we continue, before we go into the preparedness aspect, I want us to talk about a release that came out yesterday regarding the 3 individuals coming from Grenada going to Trinidad, Trinidad nationals they were, and they tested on arrival to Trinidad, they tested positive. Now, the information that we received from Trinidad was that the positive was a weak positive. Now, that simply means that the virus, they either had the virus and even before entering Grenada in March, and what they were going through was called the shedding process, where they had just a limited amount of virus left in their system, not even enough to transmit from one person to the next. However, yesterday, which was Monday, they received additional testing. So on arrival to Trinidad between Friday and Monday, they received 3 tests. The first one showed that week positive, but the 2 additional tests, they came back negative. And of course, we are very, very happy about this because people were concerned. We were all concerned with what the implications of this particular situation could mean for us as Grenadians, right? Would it mean that we now have to look out for community spread? Would it mean that we were looking at another lockdown? Would it mean that there are probably more people infected in Grenada? So there are a lot of speculations floating about as to what the possibility could be as it relates to that particular issue. But we are happy to note, we are happy to announce that these individuals, after receiving 2 additional PCR tests, both of which came back negative. All right, and I'm going to read the release from the Ministry of Health, and it reads: Grenada has been informed by its Trinidadian counterpart that the 3 Trinidad nationals repatriated from Grenada last week, who initially tested positive for COVID-19, have now tested negative. The Trinidadian authorities confirmed that the 3 individuals have been tested twice since the first test was conducted on Friday, July 17th. Both tests returned negative results. The individuals are no longer being held in quarantine in Trinidad and Tobago, so they have since been released from quarantine. The Ministry of Health Grenada welcomes this development and confirms, that its contact tracing efforts since the initial announcement by Trinidad and Tobago have returned only negative test results. In the last few days, the contact tracing team has tested 154 persons in Grenada who were in direct or indirect contact with the 3 repatriated Trinidadians, and all have since tested negative on both PCR and IgM tests. The ministry takes this opportunity to congratulate the contact tracing team for its exemplary work to date, and in particular over the past few days as members move aggressively to deal with the situation. The Ministry of Health continues to emphasize the importance of observing the safety protocols such as wearing masks, practicing physical distancing, and good hygiene. The Ministry of Health will continue to spearhead the fight against COVID-19, and we plead with all citizens to remain highly vigilant as we are still in the midst of the global COVID-19 pandemic. So this is very reassuring news. It's very good news for us here in Grenada, and it means a lot. It means that we have been working hard. It means that our efforts have been working. And I mean, we're very happy about this. I know that there are a few people who are even more happy because there were some concerned individuals who felt like they've been doing a little socializing, a little extra socializing over the past week or so since the curfew was lifted and they felt like, listen, we need to know. I just need to make sure that I didn't put myself at risk. But this is also a teachable moment that these anxieties can be limited if we only follow the necessary protocols. All right? If we only follow the necessary protocols. So as the Prime Minister said this morning on GBN, he said, it's okay, we can socialize, but the protocol must apply. 20 people to a social setting. Ensure that you follow the hygiene, wash your hands, wear your masks, maintain your social distancing, and so on. These things are important. They're not meant to restrict our freedom, but it is meant to save our life. And once we start looking at it in that way, then we can start appreciating the protocols for what they really are, measures that are meant to keep us safe. So we tip our hats to the Ministry of Health and, of course, to the contact tracing team who has done a wonderful job. Remember, just Friday, we found out that there is this possible a spread, the possibility. And they moved quickly. And within that short period of time, we were able to test and receive results for 154 people who were directly and indirectly associated with these 3 individuals. So we must tip our hats off to them, and it also shows that we are prepared in one way or the other for these kinds of situations. It may work now and the situation may change, which means that the approach may have to change as well. But that's okay. We have a competent team that is working with us to make sure that we can always be one step ahead of COVID-19. All right. A repatriated flight is coming out of the U.S. today with Grenadian nationals. Well, a chartered flight coming out of the U.S. with Grenadian nationals today. They already left, from what I understand, and they will be arriving in Grenada today. Of course, we know the protocols that are set for these individuals coming out of the red zone, as we call it. Some people are asking, well, why are we calling red zone and green zone and red zone and green zone and medium zone and all of these things? Why are we zoning it? Everywhere in the world has infection. And while that might be true, or while that is true, we still have to take precautions for places where the infection is more than others. And they gave some justification as to why the zones and who qualifies for the zones and so on. And I believe for the green zone or the low risk areas, it's anywhere around 19 or so new infections per 100,000 people. So people are wondering, well, why can't just, all the protocols apply just across the board? No, we have to take it in stages. We've seen what has happened in some of the Caribbean countries as it relates to the easing of restrictions and the opening of their borders. Grand Bahama, for example, they have just implemented a full lockdown of their country, of their island, right before they banned all flights coming in from the U.S. Hard decisions must be taken, but it's taken with us in mind. And we may not like it, like we always say. We may not agree that these measures are necessary. But remember, we are looking at it in a personal way. Well, if they lock down the country, I can't do this and I can't do that. And as much as we add we into the sentence, we really know is it's self we're speaking about. But you have to take into consideration every single Grenadian, those with and without voices, those who can jump up and make noise for their rights, and those who prefer to sit in the background and talk about it in their little circle. All of these people, they all have to be taken into consideration. race, color, creed, political affiliation, age, gender, whatever it is, everything has to be taken into consideration when you are dealing with COVID-19. It's not just a select set or a select group of people. It's everybody, you know. So hats off to the Ministry of Health. They have been working. They continue to work hard. And we have to appreciate that. And sometimes we look at the Ministry of Health, and because there is a minister, and we feel like, me and so like the minister, and appreciate what the minister is doing. And so I ain't feeling it at all. Even though we feel that way, we have to remember that he stands at the head, yes. But there are people who work just as hard, and in some cases even harder than the minister in terms of getting the work done. You know, our brothers, our sisters, our Grenadians, they are the ones that are putting out the work. They are the ones working day and night. You know, some child hasn't seen their father during the lockdown because daddy is so busy trying to keep Grenadians safe. And, you know, I don't even want to try to put myself in their shoes and wonder how they feel sometimes when they look at the comments that we make as Grenadians under some of the live videos. You know, when they see the things that we post on social media, sometimes I wonder, how do these people feel knowing that they have to leave their families in the midst of a pandemic to go out there and do this job to protect Grenadians? And some people are just not even grateful. You know, sometimes we take too many things as a joke in Grenada. We don't listen. We don't take time to see the seriousness of a situation. And it is only until that situation reaches our front door that we turn around and say, well, if I don't know. You know, but we have to be mindful of these things, guys. We've been doing a great job so far. For those of you who have not been following the protocols, please, I appeal to you. Do your best and try your best to follow the protocols as much as possible. Wearing the mask is uncomfortable. I ain't gonna sit here and pretend like everything is peaches and cream and it's a great experience. It's an uncomfortable experience. But I understand that it is meant for my safety, so I must do it. Like we say, most things in life that are good don't come easy. There's a bit of discomfort. There's a bit of sacrifice that we must all make on a daily basis, in general, for our safety and our protection. So, again, we tip our hats off to the Ministry of Health, to the Minister of Health, to the doctors, to the nurses, to the policemen, to the cashiers and grocery attendants, to the sanitation workers, to the people at the airport who have been working diligently, because they are the first point of contact. They are the first point of contact. And they must get up every day and go about and do their job. And keep in the back of their minds that, listen, I know it's my job, but I also need to take into consideration the lives of all these Grenadians and follow the protocols myself. So we tip our hats off to all these people who have that extra burden to deal with. Whenever you hear of a COVID case or you hear of a potential case or anything like that, the extra burden and the anxiety that comes with it. All right? So good job. We still remain COVID free. Some people are saying, well, why are you saying we COVID free? It's because we don't have any laboratory confirmed cases. We can only speak about cases that are confirmed. Whether we believe that there may be more cases around or not, we can only speak about things that are confirmed. All right? So as it stands right now, We have 0 laboratory confirmed cases of COVID-19 on the island. And isn't that a wonderful place to be? Isn't that a great feeling? You know, but it doesn't mean that we have to let our guards down. It doesn't mean that we must become complacent in this fact. It just means that we're in a good place, a place that can be maintained if we only follow the protocols. All right. And of course, government has released a statement to, and I want to pull it up here quickly for you and take some time to read that, because I want to make sure that we cover all matters. I want to read the press release as it relates to the chartered flight that is expected to arrive today, and it reads, in keeping with the announcement of the government of Grenada that the country's borders will gradually open and accept commercial and chartered flights, government wishes to inform the public that a chartered JetBlue flight will arrive here around 12:30 today. The flight will bring close to 90 Grenadians who were unable to return home since the outbreak of coronavirus and the subsequent closing of our borders. Part of the requirement is that each person on that flight would have done a COVID-19 test in the last 7 days, which would have returned a negative result. On arrival in Grenada, each passenger will have a rapid test done at the Morris Bishop International Airport, and all will be required to proceed to a government-approved accommodation where they will spend the next 14 days at their own expense. U.S. citizens and residents who have been stuck in Grenada will go back to New York on the return flight. So they should arrive at about 12:30 today. On doing so, they will receive a PCR test. All right. So regardless of if the PCR test shows negative, positive, it doesn't matter what that test shows, they will be quarantined for 14 days in a government-approved accommodation at their own expense. And this is something that we have been talking about for about 2 weeks now, maybe since the regulations came out about the protocols as it relates to any repatriated flights out of the U.S., any commercial flight, any a chartered flight. That will be the protocol, that you must quarantine for 14 days, regardless of if your test shows that you have, regardless of if your test shows that you have been tested recently and it's been negative, or you've tested recently and it's positive and you've gotten over it. It doesn't matter what the test shows. You will be quarantined for 14 days. And I'm sure that we all understand that the reason for this is to ensure that our bases are covered. All right. I'm just trying to get up with the housekeeping matters for those who don't receive the press releases. I want to make sure that I read that. There is also a press release coming out of the COVID Economic Support Secretariat, and it reads that the Ministry of Finance, through the COVID-19 Economic Support Secretariat, announces the deadline for receipt of applications to the Income and First-Time Payroll Stimulus Program as of Wednesday, 22nd July 2020 at 4 p.m. All right, so the deadline for the receipt of income support and first-time payroll support stimulus program is Wednesday, the 22nd of July 2020 at 4 p.m. This cutoff for receipt of application relates to the following categories: hotels, restaurants or bars, and small travel agents, tourist vendors, market vendors, bus owners, taxi owners, hairdressers, barbers, and other tourist-related businesses. Businesses making application for payroll support prior to Wednesday 22nd can continue to make their monthly application for the period April to June 2020. For instance, if Company A applied for payroll support prior to July 22nd and was approved, that company can continue to submit monthly applications for the period April to June. If Company B did not apply on or prior to July 22nd, the company would not be eligible to receive payments for the period April to June 2020. The public is asked to note that the deadline for this receipt of applications to the program only, and the payments will continue to all eligible beneficiaries at the period of which applications have been lodged. Any decisions for continuation of the program will be communicated. So guys, remember the deadline for income and first-time payroll stimulus program is Wednesday, the 22nd of July. All right? And that applies to hotels, restaurants and bars, small travel agents, tourist vendors, market vendors, bus owners, taxi owners, hairdressers and barbers, and other tourist-related businesses. All right. Guys, we're going to open the lines this morning. The number to call is 440-7377. Or if you're in the diaspora and you want to give us a call, it is 347-329-3101. Let us know what's going on in your bit of the island. It's raining down here. And I'm hoping that those of you who are in low-lying areas, those of you who are prone to flooding, that you guys are monitoring this system, that you guys are taking note of this system. Don't say that, well, they could just pass over us. We don't know. It is better to be cautious, and it is better to be prepared. I spoke to Nadma, or to Miss Crosby, sometime earlier before coming to the program, and she indicated that they will be doing a press release very soon as it relates to the system. However, as of 8:50 this morning, the system is located 9.9 degrees north and 43.1 degrees west. It's moving west-northwest at 12 miles per hour. So we want to keep note of that. If you have been following, you would note that we are in its direct path. It doesn't mean that we will get hit, but we just don't know. So you have to prepare. You have to take note of all of the things. Don't wait until the last minute. Don't wait until Friday and then remember that you have to go and get some cricks. Or wait until you see NADMA put out a release that says prepare for impact, and then everybody scrambling to figure out, well, Lord, what am I going to do? I didn't take this thing seriously and all of these things. Let's not do that. Let us take our time and prepare over time so that we are prepared in the event that something like this was to happen. All right, guys. We're going to take a very short break. What I want us to do at this point is to, I'm going to play the solid waste. Solid waste usually puts out a release for us every day, and we're going to take a short break so we can try and resolve this technical issue. We're still getting a few complaints that the volume is a little bit too low, and people aren't hearing over the radio. So we're going to try to resolve this issue, but we are going to take a very short break, and then we will be back with you.
Grenada, like the rest of the Caribbean and communities all around the world, is facing an unprecedented challenge with managing the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. We are thankful for the support of Grenadians and friends of Grenada, both here and abroad, who have come together to offer prayers support with supplies, volunteer their time and expertise, and give donations. Many of you continue to reach out, asking how you can help. In response to your request, and to further streamline our procurement process of personal protective equipment and other supplies, the Government of Grenada has developed the COVID-19 Response Support Fund. The fund gives Grenadians, friends of Grenada, and organizations the opportunity to support and partner with us through donations in the fight against COVID-19. If you are in Grenada, funds can be donated at the Grenada Cooperative Bank at account number 413-000-849. For further details and donation options when contributing from outside of Grenada, please visit our website covid19.gov.gd/donate.
Good morning and welcome to our program brought to you by the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority. Before we begin this morning's feature, this message. Today we will be sharing a few concerns arising from the improper storage of waste by some persons before collection and final disposal at the landfill, along with some guidelines to help remedy these problems. It has been observed from time to time that users of the twice weekly, sometimes daily garbage collection service provided by the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority are a bit non-compliant when it comes to the safe and adequate storage of their household or commercial waste. We have in the past used these radio programs to bring about awareness of some of the challenges we are faced with during the provision of our garbage collection service, with the hope that it will bring about a change in attitudes towards garbage disposal by some. However, during the provision of our garbage collection service, we are regularly faced with the untimely disposal of waste by householders, resulting in the waste being left out until the next collection date, sometimes leaving unpleasant odors lingering throughout communities. Little to no attention given in the disposal of broken items such as glass cups or plates, old knives, syringes and needles for home-administered treatments, medical waste, etc., putting our collection teams at risk of injury. Buckets and bins filled with water, which can have a sometimes uncontrollable negative effect on the environment, as wet waste emptied into our compactor trucks causes the slop tanks to be overfilled, resulting in wastewater being spilled onto the nation's roadway or near residential communities during transportation to the landfill, leaving behind unpleasant odors. Improper storage of waste, for example, untied bags or open boxes filled with refuse, resulting in waste spills due to the weather elements or from the foraging of wild animals. These are just a few of the challenges we are faced with during the provision of our garbage collection service, most times resulting in the slowing down of the service being provided. The Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority, along with our garbage collection contractors, have put measures in place to ensure the efficient and reliable collection and transportation of your waste items. However, we can only do so if there is a strong collaboration between everyone as to what is required for the safe storage and disposal of the waste generated. Therefore, persons are advised to puncture holes in the bottom of their garbage receptacles, whether it be a bucket or a bin, and ensure it is properly covered at all times to prevent the accumulation of water. Keep around the vicinity of your garbage receptacles clean. Ensure bags are properly tied and placed away from stray animals. In the event that your community may be plagued with stray animals, householders can sprinkle the juice of citrus or environmentally friendly insecticides onto the bags as a deterrent to prevent animals from foraging through the bags, or avoid placing green waste together with the household items for collection. Green waste, for example, vegetable peelings, grass or flower cuttings, brambles or food scraps, can be placed around trees or used in home composting projects instead of being placed with the regular household garbage. Green waste accounts for approximately 45% of waste being sent to the landfills. We need to start thinking composting. Harmful items such as broken glass, knives, razor blades must be carefully concealed before being placed with your regular household garbage for collection. Medical syringes and needles used for the administering of home treatments should be taken to the nearest health center for incineration and not be placed out for the regular garbage collection service. We do hope that these few tips have been of some help to you as we strive to continue our provision for an efficient garbage collection service. This has been our presentation for today. Do have yourselves a great day from the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority.
The following is a public service announcement on the opening of the plant distribution season. The Ministry of Agriculture and Lands wishes to inform the general public of the change of date for the opening of the 2020 plant distribution season. The season will be declared open on Tuesday, 14th July at the Marable Propagation Station, St. Andrew. Please note that the sale of plants will commence on Thursday, 16th July at the following propagation stations: Marable Propagation Station, St. Andrew; Bulong Propagation Station, St. Andrew; Moran Propagation Station, St. John; and Ashenden Propagation Station, St. David. The Ministry apologizes for any inconvenience caused. Ministry of Agriculture, ensuring food and nutrition security for all.
All right, guys, and we are back. Somebody from Carriacou is saying that they are having hot sun in Carriacou. Wow, we've been having rain, medium showers. I wouldn't say heavy showers, but we have been having some rain this morning. So, I don't know. I guess Grenada and Carriacou very different as people have been saying, but we have been having some rain. I'm not sure if that rain is associated at all with the system that's outside, but we have been having some rain. And NADMA released that report, so I'm going to read it here so that everyone can get wind of what is going on. Grenada monitoring tropical depression. That's the one for. I apologize. That was the other one. They haven't released as yet, but they are expected to release very soon that press release as it relates to that system that is outside that we are monitoring. This morning was a tropical depression. Now it is a tropical storm. And when Miss Crosby was here last, she did mention that our waters is actually in the ripest condition right now for the formation of these systems because our water is very warm, right? So we are taking note of this. We're not becoming complacent, and I am advising prepare. Start putting together your little kits. Start doing a plan. If you know that you have or you are in an area that is prone to flooding and so on, then please ensure that you move to either higher ground if you can, or secure your personal property. All right. When I heard about this turning into a storm, or even before it turned into a storm, my mind instantly last night went to the people in that area in Mount Rodney. And I'm hoping someone reaches out to them to find out what their situation is right now. Because remember, if we are expecting a storm, there is a possibility that we may have increased activity at sea. You know, we may get a couple waves that are higher than usual and so on. And I'm not saying that it is a must that it affects that area, but you always want to be prepared, right? It can't be too safe. So I'm hoping that somebody, the authorities, whether it's at NADMA or the constituency office or the representative, reaches out to these people to find out if they need to be in a more secure area. They can assess the situation and make a determination on what should be done next. But my mind went instantly to these people that are on that shoreline there and are currently experiencing already a bad situation as it relates to the erosion that's happening there, or the reclamation of land by the sea. So I'm hoping that somebody from that area listening, and of course that the message is passed on to the representative that they should, and NADMA as well, that they should pay some attention to the people in that area, along with, of course, other areas. People living in the different communities, make sure that your neighbor is taken care of. If you know that there is an elderly person within your constituency, within your neighborhood, within your village, your community, reach out to that person. Give them the information if they don't already have it, and see what they need, in order to be prepared for something like that. And I always advocate for community spirit, for community togetherness. where we know the people in our community so much that we know if something were to happen, who exactly would be affected and how we can help them, in combating something of that nature, guys. So we want to take that into consideration. If you are in the area, if you know somebody in your community that needs a little assistance, please reach out to them and see what kind of assistance you are able to afford to them.
NAWASA appreciates the efforts made by you, our valued customers, with payments towards your water bills. We have listened and will operate a temporary payment center in the parish of St. Patrick's during the month of July 3rd, July 17th, and July 31st. This is a continuation of many steps as we commit to serve you during the upcoming months. Customers are encouraged to walk with a copy of their current bill or receipt that will provide account information. All safety protocols will be observed, so ensure you have a mask or some sort of face covering. We will love to meet and serve you at NAWASA's St. Patrick's sub-office on July 3rd, 17th, and 31st between the hours of 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. NAWASA, committed to meeting customers' needs.
Good morning, listeners. Welcome to another edition of WaterWise, a production of the National Water and Sewerage Authority, NAWASA. Thank you for joining us. I am Wendy Chateau. We have been hearing the concerns raised by many consumers about what they consider to be late notification of interruptions. And while NAWASA strives to provide customers with information, there are occasions when it is not possible to give advanced notice. Manager of NAWASA's Transmission and Distribution Department, Mr. Ernest Bruno, addressed the issue recently on our NAWASA Live. Here's what he had to say.
In cases where you might have a break overnight, we will not know if the leak does not surface. Okay? So once something like that happens, we cannot inform the public. There are times when we are doing what you like to call minor repairs, right? Which will take, as I say, less than 2 hours. You may not inform the public about that, but we always stress to the crew, if you are in an area where you have large consumer, you can just inform them by mouth, okay? But for the greatest extent, we try to inform the public of every interruption. We are what I would like to call a customer-focused organization. And as you touch on that, Mr. Samuel, I think this is where your message always of storage is so important, because this is the inconveniences we would like to avoid, So when we ask for customers to have a storage for 3 days, this is what you will help to alleviate these spontaneous interruptions in your supply.
Mr. Ernest Bruno. NAWASA Live is brought to you every Monday at 10 a.m. on the authority's Facebook page. We invite you to make it a date each Monday to tune in and be edified about all things NAWASA. There you will find answers to your many questions as we bring you guests from the various departments within the authority. We also encourage you to provide feedback and comments and share with us the questions you want us to answer. Remember, the program is at 10 a.m. Mondays. Manager of the Planning and Development Department, Mr. Wim Cox, will be back on Monday 27th to continue conversations about projects. That's our time with you this morning. On behalf of the entire team at NAWASA, I am Wendy Chateau, wishing you a fantastic day. If you haven't already done so, then we encourage you. Go follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay connected.
All right, guys, and we are back. Right, so for those of you who did not get the message, or those of you who don't know, the system that is outside that we were monitoring for the past 2 days now, it's no longer a depression. It has upgraded into a tropical storm. And like we were saying earlier, for the people who just joined and are a little frantic, for the people who just joined, as we were saying earlier, we are in the projected path of this storm. However, as we have seen over the years, we are normally in a projected path, and then it shifts or it dissipates or whatever it may be. But we cannot take that for granted. We can't say, oh, well, we never get anything since Ivan or Emily, so we thing, or God is a Grenadian, so we're not going to be prepared. Please, this is me advising that you should prepare. Just the fact that there is a possibility means that you should prepare. All right? It's not saying that we are definitely going to get the storm, and it's not saying that we are definitely not going to get the storm. But we have to be prepared. Tomorrow, the storm could downgrade to a tropical depression, and then it could downgrade to a system. We just don't know. But there's no harm in being prepared. All right? And that's what I'm saying. For those of you who are a bit frantic about, well, what are we preparing for? Why are we preparing? We are preparing because there is a possibility. All right? And once there is a possibility, you have to be prepared. There is no doubt about that. All right? I'm hoping and praying that at some point we get a call from NADMA that can just give us a little insight or some more insight on what is going on. I know they're working right now very hard on preparing that release for us and to ensure that we are properly informed. Also, I need to make mention, and I'm hoping that our General Secretary would give us a call as well to further expound on our General Council. The party, as you know, usually has a General Council every year. And of course, this year is no exception. Of course, with a twist. All right. Tomorrow, I believe we're expected to have, as a party, a press conference at 10 o'clock. I believe the media has already been informed. In addition to preparations are being made to facilitate that. But keep that in the back of your mind so that you can be aware and you can tune in. So I have the press release here. And that is coming out from NADMA, and it reads National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, media release at 10:55 a.m. this morning, and it reads Tropical Storm Gonzalo formed in the Atlantic. Forecasters at the Meteorological Office at the Morris Bishop International Airport are currently monitoring Tropical Storm Gonzalo formed in the Atlantic just after 9 a.m. this morning. The tropical system is located latitude 9.9 degrees north and longitude 43.6 degrees west, about 1,073 miles east-southeast of Grenada, with maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour. Present movement is west-northwest, or 285 degrees at 14 miles per hour, with a minimum central pressure of 1,000 millibars. Additional strengthening is forecasted, and Gonzalo is expected to become a hurricane by Thursday. The system is forecasted to pass through our area on Saturday morning. There is a relatively high chance of moderate to heavy showers and thunder showers, accompanied by gusty winds and battering waves as the system propagates across the islands. The Meteorological Service will continue to closely monitor Tropical Storm Gonzalo and update the general public in a timely manner. The National Disaster Management Agency uses this opportunity to remind citizens to review family emergency plans in keeping with the regulations established from COVID-19. All right? So it's just as we've been saying earlier through the course of the morning. Please, it is very important that you have that plan. Because remember, whether we have storm, hurricane, whatever we have, COVID-19 is still around. So we have to take that precaution on top of the precaution for whatever storm or so on we are expected to experience. All right. So I want you guys to please take that in mind. As I was saying earlier, those of you in low-lying areas, as it says here, we are expected to see some rain, some heavy waves and gusty winds. So please keep that in mind, and ensure that you put a plan together for you, for your family. Help a neighbor if you can, to ensure that they have whatever it is that is necessary to get them through. All right? I want us to keep that in mind. Remember, the lines are open if you want to share with us this morning, whether it's about your preparedness plan or whatever it may be. Feel free to give us a call at 440-7377 so that we can chat. You know, I was going through the news clip last night, and something stood out to me, and I was very disturbed by it. I've noticed that there are a few people who picked up a trend, a very unsettling trend, where they go under the news feed of a live video, the live video of a news feed, and all kind of nonsense they comment in. Just utter ridiculousness. And it's upsetting because the news is meant for you to listen, process, then make a determination. But if you go under the news and before the newscaster say Ministry of Health, you're saying they lie. Well, what they lie about? You know, and last night I found myself asking some people, well, present the truth or present the facts. And that is something that we need to start doing a lot more of as a people. If somebody tell me something and you tell me that person lie, then you must tell me what the truth is, because in order for you to determine that they have lied, it means that you must now know the truth, right? So you must be able to present that truth. Even under the PM's interview this morning on GIS, you had a few people jumping in there, and I mean, when have we become so immature as a people that we have resorted to this kind of social bullying? Because that's really what it is, social bullying, to the point where you feel like if you go under a live enough and you rant and rave and show up your colors as much as possible, that the people who actually want to listen would be afraid to comment, or they would stop listening. It's a scare tactic, for lack of a better phrase, and a terrible one at that, because there are people who are actually there with valuable questions. There are people who are actually there with things that they want to find out about. And you just there, just what they call it, trolling under these people live videos, talking about the Prime Minister lie, or that the Minister of Health lie, or tell us the truth. You ask a question, the answer was given, but because the answer is not the answer that you want to get, you're telling the people it's a lie. I don't understand where we've developed this culture, but it really is not a nice culture. It is not something that we should condone. It is not something that we should accept. And I know a lot of media houses, when they stream these things, they hope to increase viewership and listenership. But at what cost, really? You know, when you have people just there in the live video just to make confusion, or and continuously, and you know them under every single live, they are there and they are saying the same exact thing under every live. From GBN, they jump into MTV. From MTV, they jump into to Mikey Live. From Mikey Live, they jump into to Right. They're just jumping from live to live, just bullying people under the live, and talking about this person lie and that person lie, and this person is a thief and that person is. I mean, there will come a time when somebody will go to the law for the things that some of y'all just be saying, you know. Because it has not yet happened, you believe that it is in your right to just go on social media and call people thieves and liars and crooks, and you think that it is okay, but really it is not, It is not. It is actually against the law. Somebody will one day hold you guys accountable for the things that you have been saying. And then I hope when that day comes, that we as a people don't turn around and talk about victimization and dictatorship. Because we make it seem as if it is okay for somebody to go and assassinate somebody's character, or go and say all sorts of things about a person. And we find that okay. But when it falls in our pot now, we have a big problem with it. But we don't have to wait until it falls in our pot, We can nip it at the bud. I think better standards need to be set by some of these media houses, and this is just my opinion and my suggestion. The better standards need to be set. Yes, we want Grenadians to listen. Yes, we want Grenadians to view. But to be honest, if I were in control of some of those live videos, I would disable the comments altogether, because there's nothing of value happening under these live videos. These comments are atrocious. And I don't understand how a media entity can allow for somebody to use their platform to malign the character of another person. I don't understand why we would allow something like that. But it is something I've noticed happening more and more every day. And it is something that needs to be addressed. We need to start respecting each other, and respectfully disagree with each other. We don't have to, not because you don't support the administration and you don't support everything. It's like you're programmed to say they lie for everything. I watched a live video the other day where the individual, all the person being interviewed said was the, somebody comment you lie. I didn't know that you could lie about the as well. We just using the thing loosely, and we have to stop it. You can't learn everything or anything. You can't learn anything. You can't grow mentally. You can't know what is happening in the country to make a better determination or to contribute constructive or provide constructive criticism to a situation if you're not even listening to what is happening. So they jump up on the live you lie. What did he lie about? They can't even tell you the sentence that he said where they think he lied. Because they're not listening. Their main goal and purpose is to go onto the live video and just create ruckus and havoc and nonsense. And that's why some of you would find, don't even waste your time to come on the Hard Talk with that kind of nonsense. Because we will delete you. And we will ban you. It will happen. I'm not going to sit here and make you pretend like you can come and say what you want and call whoever you want to call, whatever. It will not happen here. We will delete it. Because, we have to at some point set a standard. We have to at some point reteach that every single person on the face of the earth deserves an iota of respect. And deserve to be treated as a human being and deserve to be treated with respect. I have so many people on social media that I always argue with. Some friends, some are not friends. But our arguments are always respectful arguments. And at the end of the day, we may not even agree. But we have all shared our sides in a respectful way. And that is what an adult conversation is. I wonder sometimes if we don't know how to have an adult conversation. I'm looking at big men in their 40s, 50s, 60s who should be planning out their retirement, jumping up on the live video talking about corruption and NPCL Grenada and nonsense, things that don't even make sense. And these people say that they are educated people. And I wonder sometimes, why do we do this to each other? And then these are the same people that you see jumping up and saying, Black Lives Matter, eh? And Black lives do matter. Absolutely. But it must matter to us first. Black lives must matter to black people first. So when you go and you malign a black man's character, and you criticize a black man because you don't agree with him, and you call him all sorts of names and derogatory names just to bring him down or her down, and then you want to talk about justice and equality, how can I take you seriously? You know, it is very disheartening as a young person to look at the way some of the older people in politics behave. And even if I was considering, which I am not, let me make that absolutely clear, for those of you who like to say, what is one of those phrases they use? Singing for she supper. For those of you who like to say that, I'm not interested in frontline politics, nor would I ever be. Because I look at the way some of you behave and I wonder, for people who are sacrificing their lives and their family just to ensure that Grenadians have betterment, and the way that we treat them, the way that we show gratitude, I don't think I can be a part of that, you know. We have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. Hi, good morning.
All right. I believe they are saying courtesy begin at home, which is quite true. As we said, black life matter, all life matter. But then when we as black people treat black people so, and when we look at the way white people treating our black people, we give the white people ammunition to treat we black people so. Because we color people, we should come together and unite. Right? Everybody should come together to unite. Because all are equal. There is no one greater than one another. Because God created each and every one of us equal. And I always say, let us, if we respect one another, and love and care for one another, and see a man achieve things in life, we should be proud of the person. Be a black person or a white person, we should be proud of them. And ask them for that, what they did to reach where they reach.
Yeah.
Instead of we asking them for that, where they reach. Instead of what we're doing, we're trying to pull them down, destroy. You come like we're playing the devil role. And the word God said, the devil came to destroy, to kill, to destroy, and to destroy. And we playing that role. So I want to say to we people, let us come together, black, white, all green up people, let us unite. If we unite, the world will be a better place to live. A better place to live. You know, sometimes, in life, sometimes, both of you all working, you save money, you manage money wisely. The other person working, they manage money wisely. And when they see you in a certain position, they envy you. They say, how can they, but they make illegal things. But if you reach a level and they don't know, come to me, you know, to me, Duncan, what to do to reach where you reach? And you could give them a remedy. Yeah. Well, instead of that, we prefer to stay outside and to say all kind of things about you. But Mr. Duncan, I always say, like, we have to mind our own business.
Yeah.
Right? We have to mind our own business.
We have
to. I'm going to say again, as we are in the hurricane season and outside there, pending weather outside there, we, the Grenadian people, let us listen. Listen to the person, Nagwan, who will give out the report, and have the report, and have the facts to give out. Because also, when we see a weather outside there, and we taking information from all different people, they bring confusion, they bring panic upon people. So listen to Nagma. Nagma is the source that will give out the information and the right information. The information is key in everything. Because if you like information and good right communication, it could bring panic in people's life again. So, Mr. Duncan, have a wonderful day. God bless you.
You too. Thank you so much for your contribution, caller. And the caller is absolutely right. Togetherness and unity doesn't mean that we have to agree on every single thing that happens. You know, it doesn't mean that we are yes people. Unity simply means that we can come together, that we can all see the bigger picture. Because remember, there's no one road to the bigger picture. There can be several roads that we can take to arrive at that bigger picture, you know, but we all must contribute to getting there. We all must contribute to getting there. And he's right. Sometimes we pull down our brothers and sisters because we seen a man striving. We don't know how he get there, what he do to get there, how much nights he probably go to sleep without food. You know, these kind of things we don't understand. We don't know. But we feel it's necessary that he don't deserve to reach that position. So we gonna pull him down. It happens. And it's a very sad cycle that we must first break. You know, I see somebody on the live say black lives should matter to each other first. And that is absolutely right. Especially in a region where our countries are predominantly black. You know, it should matter to us first. We must have that sense of unity among each other first. Before we could jump up against any other race. You know, and in that unity, they will see strength. When we have that unity and that kind of unity and that kind of strength, you really feel they're going to interfere with us? You really feel they'll feel empowered to do the things that they are doing to our race if we are really together as a people? Let's just think about it for a moment. You know, we're fighting each other down. We're not supporting each other. A black man start a little business. We watching him in the corner. We ask him, he who eating from me? I know where he come from. I don't buy anything. And we do it. And it's sad. It's very, very sad. We have to start here. We have to start now. Because the problem will never be fixed. Because we may get them to stop for a while, you know. We may get other races to stop coming down on one particular race. But if the race is fighting within themselves, the problem still exists. It was never fixed. So we have to take that into consideration. And let's start at home. Let's begin here in Grenada. Let's start to support each other. Support our black brothers and sisters. I look sometimes at people in the entertainment sector, you know, the Jefferson Ramirez and the Tamara St. Bernards and the Sabrina Francis and so on. When I look at these people, you know, if they were to come together and put on a little show, let's say they had a little show in the stadium, how many of us would be quick? We go and buy a new outfit and do we hair and do we nails and we spending the $60 to $100 on the ticket and we go in VIP, and how many of us would do that? But let us say Shensia come in or some other international artist, you know, is coming. We spending all sorts of money. We're doing all sorts of things. And we ain't complaining that the ticket is too much. We're spending the money on the ticket. It is these situations that I'm speaking about, where we must start by supporting our own first, building our own first, putting precedence on our own first. That is what must matter the most in everything. That is what must matter. And then everything else will just fall into place, you know. But we must start at home. So let's start building the foundation for betterment in Grenada. Let's start supporting each other. Let's take a different approach to the way we deal with certain things. You know, I looked at the live video on the GBN last night, and one individual commented, and I was in awe. I was in such awe that I had to go on Facebook and make a post. And the comment read, and I want to be, I can't quote it verbatim, so I'm going to try my best to pull out the points. She said something along the lines of start the rioting, or something along those lines. Start the rioting. She gonna come home and join. She come from the revolution. And I looked at it and I said to myself, Are we serious as a people? Is this really what? And people liked that, eh? You see big thumbs up and thing next to it, and I'm wondering, well, what in that comment is there to like? How can you ask people to start a riot because you come from the revolution? And I went to Facebook and and I made a post, you know, and I want us, I'm just going to take a moment here to read that post, because I want to quote what I say too. I want them to say, well, she say what she say and she didn't say what she say what the other person say and she didn't say what she say. And I said, you see some people talking about being the fruits of the revolution, right? So we should go back to rebelling and protesting when we don't agree with something. Like that is the only thing that the revolution taught them. And I went further to say that they are the living representation of the phrase, you only go to school for break and lunch, you know? And I was upset because I know a lot of the positive things that the revolution brought, a lot of the positive changes that the revolution initiated, you know, because I made it my duty to understand it. It's our culture, it's our history. So I know some of the things that it brought. But I also know some of the things that were not so favorable about the revolution. But when you hear some people talk, like that lady, for instance, who is talking about she's a product of the revolution, so start a riot, she's going to come home and join. It makes the young people wonder, like, was the revolution all about fighting? Was it just this negative thing that was part of our history? We have to be very careful what we teach our young people, huh? Very, very careful. When we teach them one side of the story, but we don't teach them the other side. When we show them the negatives and we don't show them, well, these are the positive outcomes of. This happened as a result of. And then we wonder why they've become so violent. And then we wonder why they've decided to protest and be arrogant about everything. It's because that is the message that they are receiving. That in order to get what you want, you have to fight for it. We have to be very, very careful what we teach our people. We have a caller on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, my sister Duncan.
Hi, good morning, Ms. Jacob.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. That is a topic related to what they are hearing from Facebook. Well, my dear darling, the revolution did me a good. Because I leave school in Standard 4 and I get some nice school from Bishop. That's what I tell you, when I go behind people are going at the top. Bishop them so bad is who that they behind him. I could tell you that because I used to follow him. Some people used to call me Miss Bishop. They used to call me, no. They didn't used to call me in my name, in my title, Miss Bishop. I love the fella, but he had some devils behind him, and some of them reigning still.
Yeah.
And you see that revolution? That revolution start because they didn't like Uncle Gary. I saying it, I'm afraid. Who want to kill me? That they business.
Hey, Ms. Jacob, not on this rainy day, please.
I know.
Yeah, but as you said, Ms. Jacob, you saw a lot of benefits from the revolution,
yes,
right?
It had a lot of benefit from the revolution. But it had a lot of benefit, but you know you go meet up some that don't like. You know that?
Of course.
You know that.
Yeah.
But I did love Bishop. I used to go to school with Bishop. And I had a friend in the end of the road, they call Mr. Roberts. Oh, God. Until they say, Bishop that fix the gap for Mr. Roberts. The road are donkey. They do all that. But girl, if you get somebody, everybody to like you, oh God, that ain't good neither.
Yeah.
Not everybody will like you. And you know why it is? Just as they didn't like Uncle Gary. It's just so they don't like the Honorable Dr. Kit Mitchell. And this that they really know, is worse than the revolution. It worse than Bishop. I'm telling you, them, how do those call it again? Those, I will tell you the name of it. The opposition. And so we used to call it before. Before the opposition used to say, if Uncle Gary say something, it's not everything Uncle Gary say, they used to go ahead with it. I'm telling you, because I was a Garyite too, and a big one too. I could tell you, it's not everything Uncle Gary said they used to go ahead with it, but they used to go ahead with some. That's why the revolution formed. That's why Bishop had small little children behind him. Little children, 20. What a 20 years old could do? 20 in the 30s. And he was the eldest day. And I was elder. I was in my 50s. I was in my 50s behind. I'm telling you, Bishop a good thing. He used to well, Uncle Gary now, the airport, Uncle Gary that thing, the airport,
right.
Didn't they to start it and finish it. The salt pan, we go down and we take salt. You know when my salt finish and how my salt managed to finish? In Ivan, because you see I had it in a pan, and to how I had the pan, the water getting in it. So I had also chew it. So that's why it's Uncle Gary, and then Bishop come and finish it. But he had some thing behind Bishop too. All how you take it, girl, is problem, you know.
Yeah.
Real problem.
Yeah. Well, Miss Jacob, we winding down for time, and of course, I know you have a.
So you have a wonderful day.
Yeah.
I love your program. God bless you, and I love you, baby.
All right. You too, Miss Jacob.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Yeah, there are a lot of people with a lot of information, a wealth of information as it relates to the revolution. But I'm using that example just to show the mindset of some of the people who are anti-government, that they would go that far. They would go that far as to create a sense of unrest in a country, just so they can feel some iota of power. And that is a very dangerous place to be. A desperate man is a dangerous man. When you're in a place where you're so desperate for just a little piece of power that you're willing to just pull down a whole country, a whole system, a whole structure, the same structure that you would have to govern if given the opportunity, that you're willing to pull all of that down just for an iota of power. That level of desperation, it's a very dangerous thing. So we have to be mindful as a people. We have to be careful not to be used. Not to be used for political agendas. You know? And I keep saying it, and I say it every day, that we as a people must educate ourselves. There's nobody that knows everything. One thing in life that is not constant is information. As time goes by, information will change, or may change in some cases. So every day as you get older, you learn something new. And if a day goes by and you look back on your day, you reflect on the day that you had, if that day passes and you cannot identify something in your day that you have learned, something new that you have come across, I don't know what to say. But aspire to learn something new every day. Educate yourself. Keep educating yourself. We have a caller on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Duncan.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, I'm appalled of the lady who you said did that Facebook, whatever she did. I want to tell her if she's listening, please don't disrespect the revolution. Don't sit wherever you are, in which country you are, and tell people to start a riot, and you come. Come and start a riot yourself if you want to do it. You want to stay over there encouraging people to do things and you declaring you somewhere and you're going to come. People like them, they run them out and they will not show their damn faces, excuse me. So please don't disrespect the revolution. Have a blessed day.
You too, caller. And that's how I felt too, caller, when I saw it, because first of all, the person is not even a Grenadian living in Grenada. You know, they're probably a Grenadian. I'd want to assume that they're a Grenadian because they say that. I'm just assuming, you know, but not even a Grenadian living in Grenada. And that's why I say these comments under these live videos can be so dangerous, you know, in the things that they are trying to incite, you know, trying to incite a riot and telling the people that you go come after because you're a product of the revolution, so we must incite a riot, making it seem as if that is the only thing that has been taught. We have to be careful. We have to be careful. So as you reflect on your days, and I'm hoping that is something that everybody would do, at some point in the afternoon when you have settled, and for those of you who work at night, in the morning time when you have settled, just take some time to yourself. Whether you're lying down, you're sitting down, you're in the kitchen washing dishes or whatever it is, wherever your safe place is, in the bathroom or whatever. Take a moment and do some self-reflection. Do some introspection on yourself, on your life, on your day. Set goals and aspirations. Your goal must never be a sit down home waiting for the next live video from or press release to condemn or to pull down or to go out. I don't know how people just sit down and decide, me, I go and start some drama. I don't understand how people even have the time to do that. I wish I had time in my day to sit down and say something like that, much less to do it. I don't see how people have the time. Because you always have to be looking at yourself and growing and developing as an individual to better you, you know. You can't be sitting stagnant in the same place for years and years and years at a time, pointing fingers and blaming government and blaming the system and blaming an auntie or an uncle or a parent for the situation that you are in if you aren't trying your hardest to get out of it. So as I leave you today, I just want to leave you with two very important reminders. The New National Party tomorrow will be having a press conference live at 10 o'clock. So tune in. We will be streaming it live here and, of course, streaming it live on the radio. And those radio sites again, radio stations again, 97.5, 89.5, 91.9 and 91.5, 92.9 and 94.9 for those of you in the diaspora. And of course, the NADMA as well advises that with the storm, Gonzalo, or I believe that's its name, with that threatening our waters, it is important for us to start putting a plan together as a family, just to make sure that you are safe no matter what. Guys, as we said, we now leave you, of course, with those words of wisdom. Do some introspection. Every day, take 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes out of your day. Reflect on the day you've had. Make goals for the next day. And plan your life. Guys, it's always a pleasure being here with you in whatever you say and whatever you do. Be safe and be secure. I always want to be talking with you. I don't ever want to be talking about you. Please do enjoy the remainder of your day. And please keep in mind that we normally end the program at this time so that we can facilitate the playing of the national report. Please keep that in mind. Guys, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. You have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Grenada, like the rest of the Caribbean and communities all around the world, is facing an unprecedented challenge with managing the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. We are thankful for the support of Grenadians and friends of Grenada, both here and abroad, who have come together to offer prayers, support with supplies, volunteer their time and expertise, and give donations. Many of you continue to reach out, asking how you can help. In response to your request, and to further streamline our procurement process of personal protective equipment and other supplies, the Government of Grenada has developed the COVID-19 Response Support Fund. The fund gives Grenadians, friends of Grenada, and organizations the opportunity to support and partner with us through donations in the fight against COVID-19. If you are in Grenada, funds can be donated at the Grenada Cooperative Bank at account number 413.
Negative results returned in second round of test for 3 Trinidad nationals. We'll have details to this story and more in the national report. Welcome back with the details to the news for Tuesday, July 21st, 2020. I am Rakisha St. Louis. Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honorable Keith Mitchell says second round of test for the 3 Trinidad nationals who reportedly tested positive for COVID-19 after leaving Grenada have returned negative. But he warns that there is still need for all to be cautious. Dr. Mitchell made the announcement during a live radio interview with Andre Donald on Tuesday. The Grenadian leader said while it is relieving that the tests have returned negative, this is no reason to let our guards down. The Minister for Health also confirmed that the tests from Trinidad have returned negative and they are now awaiting the results of a third test. He said that rapid tests conducted on more than 100 people in the contact tracing process have also returned negative. According to Dr. Mitchell, the Ministry of Health will continue to do contact tracing, which will determine whether or not the island is COVID-free.
we heard from the minister late yesterday evening from Trinidad that the retest done on Monday showed negative. So it could be that virus that they had, and it could be that when they came in from Trinidad, they had the virus and from Trinidad, and when they came here. So because all the testing they've done so far with the contact tracing of the persons they were interacting with, none have turned out negative. And if they had live virus, there's no doubt in my mind we'd have seen a lot of infection. So again, it looks like if we are right to say that we do not have really serious active cases. But that does not mean they may not be. And that does not mean we should drop our guard.
Dr. Mitchell advised that as it relates to COVID-19, no one is invincible. He encouraged Grenadians to follow protocols and respect the efforts of the government and Ministry of Health to maintain the safety of all.
With the curfew being lifted, I've noticed that there is a tendency to forget that we're still under the virus COVID-19 atmosphere, and that people sometimes behaving as if, well, we don't have a problem until there is a serious vaccine and that has found to deal with that virus. I don't think any one of us should drop our guard. And particularly our young people, some of them might be feeling they're invincible. It is not true. When you look at the television, when you look at the news around the world, young people less than 20 years, above 20 and before 30 and 40, they are coming down with the virus, and some of them are dying. Some of them have serious health problems after, even if they recover. So they ought not. No one must treat this as if it is not going to happen to everybody else but me.
While the curfew has been lifted, the emergency powers and regulations remain in effect until Wednesday, August 5th. Continuing the news, 350 teachers graduated from an MSTAR online learning professional training on Monday, July 20th in an online commencement activity. Instead of the usual professional development training done during the summer break, this training was organized to ensure that teachers are fully prepared to participate in e-learning using the locally developed MSTAR platform going forward. Annette Moore holds the details in this report.
I want to start by congratulating you. You have decided to be part of this program by choice, and hundreds of you have volunteered and come forward expressing an interest in training as it relates to e-learning, a tool that can be used to advance and to help in developing the education sector.
Minister Pierce says the increased competence of teachers in the area of e-learning fits into the OECS education sector strategy, which stresses improvement of teachers' professional development and the improvement of the quality of teaching and learning at all levels. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, online learning was brought into the spotlight from March 2020 as educators were required to teach from home by having students access online learning resources.
We were called in March thereabout to switch immediately from face-to-face instructions to online instructions. For many, I would imagine that this seemed at the time as an impossibility. For many, they did not see themselves making that transition with ease and making that transition in a way that they would be comfortable to achieve the goals and the objectives set for that particular period. But I want to commend you. I want to commend all of our principals and all of our teachers for their achievements during this period.
The Ministry of Education supported this endeavor by making the MSTAR online learning support platform a free, zero-rated resource that educators could use for this purpose. However, many educators required more training to make maximum use of the MSTAR platform. Following the recent training, educators are now much more comfortable with the use of the platform and appreciative of all its features. Some teachers gave testimonials during the graduation ceremony.
This workshop was exactly what I needed. It contained very high quality content, was delivered with passion and genuine desire to share knowledge and present it in such a way that was easy to understand.
When the opportunity for the MSTA Zoom program came, I grabbed that opportunity and signed up for it, since I didn't know much what to do on the platform. Our facilitator, Teacher Eddie, was very excellent. He was very patient with each and every one of us. I came from the unknown to the known.
I have learned, so much about this MSTAR program. I am now able to set and plan my lessons. I am able to embed videos and links, descriptions, everything in my lessons to make it interactive and interesting for my students. I am also able to cater for different learning styles using this platform. I can determine how long a child stays on a lesson so that a child doesn't just click a lesson and just look around for a minute and then exit. I have them to remain locked in that lesson so they can pay attention and focus.
I think it was very good, and those teachers who didn't sign up for it, I think they missed a great opportunity and a great way to learn how to manipulate and navigate the MSTA program in teaching the children of this nation.
It speaks volumes about your interest in our students. It speaks volumes about your interest in education and that you are prepared to take a leap of faith, that you are prepared to do whatever is necessary and whatever is possible to improve your skills to the benefit of our students.
In-classroom teaching and learning is expected to resume in full following protocols established for the reopening of schools in September 2020. Minister Pearce says there will be a continued emphasis on blended learning in the Michaelmas term.
In the new school year, we will be continuing the blended approach to learning. And by blended approach, I'm sure it was referred to earlier, we speak of the face-to-face as well as the e-learning engagement. During this period, we will maximize the use of technology, our e-books, our MSTA platform, and all that is available technologically to ensure that we achieve our objectives.
For the National Report, I'm Annette Moore.
Thank you, Annette. This is the National Report. We'll have more news after the break.
The house was shaking. Then started the story here, babe. Crack, and the roof had gone.
Man, I was so scared, I nearly wet myself.
Only those who have lived it can truly understand the devastating fury of a hurricane's wind.
The house across the road just get up and roll over.
Hurricane force wind. It's a hazard. Hazards. Take control. Reduce your loss. You can hurricane-proof your home. For example, make your roof more wind-resistant by using screws instead of nails in its construction. Find out more about hurricane force winds and other hazards at your local disaster office.
A message from the National Disaster Management Agency and SEDERA.
Welcome back. A joint initiative between the Government of Grenada and the Consolidated Contractors Construction Company Limited has seen the realization of a new commercial asphalt plant at Perseverance St. George. The asphalt plant, which is soon to be commissioned, will be the main supplier of hot mix on the island. Khalil Saliba, project engineer with Consolidated Contractors Construction Company, says the commissioning of the plant is timely. They are now in the final stage of preparing the foundation of the road network in phase 1 of the St. Patrick Road Improvement Project.
We have a new asphalt plant at Perseverance. It's been commissioned, it's ready, we have all the material and ready to, I think within 10 days we are ready, it's a commercial even, it's ready to start delivering asphalt in commercial way. No, it's big asphalt plant, is capacity of 80 ton per hour, so we don't need such quantity for our project. So it's a very big asphalt plant that is ready for commercial work.
Saliba says since the asphalt plant can work with different types of aggregates, this will enhance the quality of road work that his company is known to have produced over the years.
The road there is specification for the road. because there is road light duty. What do you mean light duty? The specification is more or less for the road where should carry heavy duty machines. In general, we are following the highest specification. What I mean by road highest specification, it means we are starting from subgrade, we are testing the subgrade, and then we are coming to the subbase, which is specific specification, specific laterite, has density classification of this material, and then we come to the stone base. Once you put stone base, crushed stone base, it means you are in the high specification because the bearing ratio of the stone base is more higher than the laterite. This road will be executed with crushed stone base, 20 centimeter thickness, compacted. It means this road is following the highest standard to carry along all the heavy truck. Once you see that the road is only laterite, it means is still in the old specification where the carrying of the load is more or less than what we are doing here. This road is following the high standard with crushed stone base, compacted 20 centimeter, 5 centimeter of asphalt, specific quality of subbase. This road should last minimum for 50 years.
Once commissioned, the asphalt plant will be opened for business, providing hot mix for government as well as private jobs. Finally, in the news, Prime Minister and Minister for National Security, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, says the country is saddened by Monday's tragic accident, which claimed the lives of 3 and left many families in grief. Police are currently investigating a vehicular collision involving a passenger bus and a garbage disposal truck along the Westerhall Main Road. The accident, which occurred just before 4 o'clock, claimed the lives of 40-year-old Kimberly Felix, a lab technician of Croce St. Andrew, 48-year-old Rosie Roxy Batiste, a janitor of Lassages St. David, and 28-year-old Alistair Andrew, a logistic clerk of Post Royal St. Andrew. Both Felix and Batiste were pronounced dead at the scene, while Andrew died at the General Hospital. Autopsies are currently underway to determine the cause of the deaths.
When we have people losing life through accidents who are enjoying a good life, so to speak, health-wise, and have to meet up accidents and would lose, especially young lives who are budding, possibly good future, have to depart from us under those circumstances. Very, very sad, and we have to examine the reason for what has taken place and do what we can to ensure that we do not have any future losses like this. 3 losses in one day and a lot of injuries. It's very, very tough for all concerned, and my heart goes out to the families who have lost loved ones at this very difficult time.
That was Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. That story just ended the national report for today, Tuesday, July 21st. Recapping the top story. Negative results returned in second round of test for 3 Trinidad nationals. On behalf of the entire news team here at the Government Information Service, I am Rikisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new National Party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.